Now I'm so sorry that I didn't write a poem. So I'm going to have to ask you to bear with me as I read from a larger piece called Homegoing. This reading is actually dedicated to Kelvin Armstrong, another one of many victims of the Federal Extermination Management Agency. "You're not from here," she said without waiting for a reply. "No, I can tell. I'm Elma Lawson. Been in this town my whole life. I knew that whole family up there before they was a family." She motioned to the first 4 pews. "I remember Dottie when she was nothing but a child. Have you viewed the body? She really looks good. Better than she ever did living. She was truly an ugly girl. Had a house full of ugly children, too. Nobody could figure out why Victor married her, but I knew. They tried to say that that first baby was premature. Shoot. He weighed nearly 10 pounds. If that child was born at 6 months, he'd have been walking, talking, and eating hog maws after 3 more. It took me a few seconds to realize that she was bashing my grandmother. And even after becoming fully aware, all I could do was gape at her. My only hope was escape, but that died when another woman sat on the other side of me. She wore a nurse's uniform and carried a plastic tote and smelled of lavender. She was round-faced with high cheekbones and large, bright eyes, a grandmother type. I immediately wanted to tell her what the mean lady was saying. "Pauline, is that you?" Elma yelled a whisper. "Hey, Elma. You know I can't half see without my glasses. I don't know what I did with them. I had them on when I viewed the body." "She looks good, don't she?" Pauline asked. "Well, who is this fine young man?" she asked, looking at me. "I know he ain't one of your grandchildren." Elma finally realized that she had no idea who she'd been talking with. A furrowed brow signaled that she was reconsidering some of what she'd said. "John Smith," I lied, extending my hand. "Smith? Lord have mercy, you must be Lonnie Smith's boy," Elma exclaimed. "Pauline, you know Abby's boy, Lonnie," Elma asked. I smiled to affirm her belief without offering confirmation, and that was enough for her to start rattling off about having seen Lonnie Smith driving a brand new Cadillac. "He must be doing real good," Elma said. It amazed me that even at the close of this century, this woman still equated the success of a man with a new Cadillac. I was about to say so when a homeless man walked up to view Granny. He was sobbing inconsolably. "Elma," Pauline whispered, "your brother just came in." "Lord Jesus, let me get that fool out of here before he start acting up. I'll be back." Elma adjusted her wig and walked off. I breathed a sigh of relief. Peace at last. Or so I thought. "Poor Luther," Pauline shook her head. "Drunker than a boiled owl." "He seems upset," I said. And he did. He was crying like they just pronounced his mama dead in the emergency room. "He sure is, baby. He drinks. You know, and now that Dot is dead, he can't depend on nobody for pity. She'd slip him a couple of dollars every now and then for doing odd jobs. I heard they was messing around." "Really?" I asked. "Do you believe that?" "Baby, you never know, but I don't pay no attention to what Elma says. She never liked Dot." She was gearing up for a story. I could feel it, and she didn't prove me wrong. "Dot wasn't ever what you'd call a pretty girl, but she was attractive. She had a head full of good hair, a nice shape, and pretty feet. Elma was always old-looking, just a fast little heifer. She was a change baby, born when Miss Clotilde was near 50. Poor woman died in childbirth. One of them contractions ran up against a hot flash and took that good sister right up out of here." Elma was pretty much raised by her brothers. They loved and spoiled her, but they ain't teach her nothing about being a girl. When her menses started, she walked around smelling like month-old mullet. Till Dottie pulled her aside and showed her how to care for that old rancid ass. "Ooh, excuse me, baby," she said, embarrassed. "I got what they call a cussing spirit." Elma was just one of the boys. "Well, what about Mr. Lawson?" I asked, genuinely curious. "She looked good enough to get him." "Baby," she looked upon me compassionately as if I was handicapped. "A woman don't have to be pretty to get a man. As you get older, you'll see. A man will seek out an ugly gal because she ain't no trouble. She'd be so happy to have a man, she'd let him get away with anything. Besides, Elma's husband was a sporting man. They was out trying to outdo each other in adultery." I looked over to see Elma dragging old Luther up the aisle, aided by another man. "Who's that with Mrs. Lawson and her brother?" I asked. "That's her son, Stanley. I believe Victor was his daddy, Dottie's husband." "What?" I reacted, loud enough for my mother to look back at me with disapproval. Had I been sitting next to her, she would have pinched me. "Yes, baby. Elma got a house full of children, and every last one of them got a different daddy. And every daddy is somebody else's husband. Mine is among the number. Her last baby looked so much like the milkman, every cat in the neighborhood used to follow him home from school. It don't make no kind of sense. And she can sit around and talk about Dot. I got a good mind to whip that ass again."
This next poem is called is Katrina's Prayer. And of course, it's inspired by